Lenovo is back at CES 2025 with the Yoga Tab Plus, a premium tablet boasting the powerhouse Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and Harman Kardon speakers. Sounds impressive, right? But with a hefty £669 price tag, is it really worth it? In this review, we're diving deep to see if this tablet lives up to the hype or just burns another hole in your wallet. So, like I mentioned, the Yoga Tab Plus costs £669 or $699, and that includes the keyboard pack and Tab Pen Pro. So we'll start off by having a quick look at what we actually get in the box. This time around, we have what looks like a recyclable box offered by Lenovo, so that's good to see. Lifting the lid here, we have a box of its own, which I believe is the keyboard pack. Then we have the Yoga Tab Plus itself. We get a bunch of booklets, quick start guides for the tablet and pen, and safety and warranty guide. And then we have the Tab Pen Pro in this grey color. We get a spare tip for the Tab Pen Pro, and then a USB-C to USB-C charging cable. No charging brick with this one, folks. That is a separate purchase. And then we'll check out the keyboard pack. First thing we have is the back kickstand attachment that has almost like kind of a leather finish to it. And then we have the keyboard with trackpad, and that's everything we get included in the box. Now let's jump into the review itself and see what this tablet is all about. So design and build wise, up front of the Yoga Tab Plus, we have the 12.7-inch LCD display. One thing I am confused about is the fact that Lenovo stated this would be a matte display, but as far as I can tell, this is a normal shiny glass panel, so I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. Moving on, we can see the tablet has chamfered edges which kind of glimmer with the light, so it gives it that kind of nice premium look to it. Up top, we have the volume buttons, two microphones, and the magnetic area for the Tab Pen Pro. Turning to the right, we have two speaker grills and the USB-C port, which is USB 3.1 Gen 2. The tablet has 6 speakers altogether, which consists of 4 woofers and 2 tweeters. Turning to the bottom, we have this Dolby Atmos and Vision branding to the left side, and in the middle, the pogo pin connectors for the keyboard. And then to the left, we have the power button, which has a built-in fingerprint reader, 2 more speaker grills, and soundbar Harman Kardon branded in the middle. Things missing on this tablet are memory card expansion, headphone jack, and there's no cellular connectivity options. Up front, we have the 13 megapixel camera along with various sensors. Then turning to the back, we can see this tidal teal color a little better. And as usual, the all metal build along with a glass section running across the whole length of the top, which adds to that kind of premium aesthetic. And in that section are the rear cameras, which consists of the main 13 megapixel camera and the 2 megapixel micro camera, and we have an LED flashlight. The glass section doesn't actually protrude that much, means that when laying the tablet flat, there is no rocking whatsoever, so that definitely is a big plus. Weight wise, the tablet tops the scales at 636 grams. And then we'll check out the kickstand. So simply it attaches to the back of the tablet magnetically, and then the keyboard snaps on magnetically as well, right into place. And then we have a nice little package with everything attached, and it does turn the display off when closed and on when opened. And also the keys on the keyboard are disabled when folding the keyboard around to the back. And now with the keyboard pack and the Tab Pen Pro attached, the total weight comes in at 1105 grams, so nearly doubles the weight of the tablet itself. And the pen attaches to the top of the tablet magnetically and pairs and charges via this connection. So display wise, the Yoga Tab Plus has a 12.7-inch LCD LTPS and what Lenovo refer to as Pure Sight Pro display. Resolution is at 3K, refresh rate up to 144Hz with the aspect ratio at 16:10. And as I mentioned before, I believed it would have had the anti-reflective coating, but turns out that's not the case, and maybe that's an option on a separate model itself. Quickly have a look at what we get in the settings. Usual stuff here, light and dark mode. Brightness wise, we have 650 nits typical or 900 nits peak, so it gets plenty bright. We have a toggle for adapt color to environment, and in color mode options, we have standard and vibrant along with a color wheel for adjusting color, temperature. Screen refresh rate can be adjusted from intelligent, extreme, or standard, which will lock at maximum of 60 Hz. We have eye protection mode, and reading mode gives it a more warmer temperature. So YouTube supports 4K 60 FPS HDR content. Although the display does support Dolby Vision, the HDR on here isn't the same as what you would get like on an OLED panel, but regardless, picture quality is still really good with vibrant colors, and the 100% DCI P3 color gamut makes colors look very lifelike. Netflix playback supports the highest L1 wideband level and full HD, but there's no HDR compatibility here. But again, media consumption on the device will be a good experience, and any streaming services will support the higher end of things, so you'll get at least minimum 1080p full HD playback on here. Viewing angles are okay with hardly any changes to the color temperature, maybe a slight dip in brightness at more extreme angles, but the high brightness of the tablet itself does help with that. And outside in more brighter conditions, the display does well with 900 nits peak brightness, and even in bright sunlight is still legible, so working outdoors shouldn't be a problem. The tablet does support external displays via its USB-C port, and here we have the option to extend the display or mirror, along with options to pick the output of sound, and the highest resolution is 1080p 100Hz, and you have the choice to pick where the monitor is also placed. And the extended display works as it should and provides a good experience to multitask with different apps on different screens, so really good there for productivity and multitasking. And you also have the option to use the tablet screen as a touchpad for whatever use case you have. So that's a wrap up on display. Then we'll have a quick look at the Tab Pen Pro. Specs wise, it supports haptic feedback, has tilt detection, palm rejection, and 10,000 pressure levels. It has up to 8 hours battery life, and as I mentioned, it charges via the connection to the tablet. And on my scales, it weighs in at 18 grams, so slightly heavier than other pens, but I personally prefer a bit more weight to my pens. Settings wise, we have different options here. You can enable stylus toolbox. You can choose to handwrite in certain text fields. You have different pen gestures, so swipe up to copy and swipe down to paste by swiping on the pen itself. And then you also have the double tap function. You can also use the pen as a remote control and works across different things on the tablet. So during music playback, during video playback, you also can adjust what the stylus does when you remove it from the tablet. And then you have handwriting feedback. So various options here. So you can turn on the sound if you wanted to, or you could have different effects like ball pen, highlighter, pencil, fountain pen, and you can also adjust the vibration intensity. And then we kind of just get generic things like anti-lost alert or showing the pointer when hovering. And then there's also the firmware update options further down. Latency isn't too bad at all, with the pen being fairly accurate, and I have to say the haptic feedback on here is a game changer for me at least. It's a much better experience. Palm rejection works absolutely fine, and so does the pressure recognition along with tilt detection. And for me, it does seem really accurate. And then you can also swipe when in notes to switch to another tool. So in this case, it's the eraser. Just makes things like that a little bit more convenient. The swipe to copy and paste gestures work absolutely fine. And it's a nice and convenient way to move text around. And filling out forms is a breeze with good accuracy and detection. So overall, very good experience with this pen. Definitely the best I have used so far with good enough accuracy. So more intricate tasks are not a problem on here. So the Yoga Tab Plus comes bundled with a keyboard pack, which as we saw earlier consists of a kickstand attachment and the keyboard with function keys and a trackpad. Settings wise, for the keyboard we have various different shortcut options that you can toggle and adjust. There's options for modifier keys, and then options for the touchpad such as tap with one finger to click, touch or swipe to wake up the device, reverse scrolling and others. And you also have various different multi-finger gestures that you can toggle on and off. You can change the pointer style and also adjust the pointer size. You have various different options to map the smart key, and typing on here is a decent experience like it was on the Idea Tab Pro, with fairly good key travel and nice clicky response to them. The function keys are always welcome with quick access to different settings. The trackpad was okay, not as good as what you may find on a laptop, and at times it can be a bit fiddly with the buttons at the bottom, but perfectly usable and really transforms the tablet into a more laptop type of experience. So when it comes to speakers, the Yoga Tab Plus doesn't disappoint, equipped with 6 speakers in total, which is made up of 4 woofers and 2 tweeters, with sound by Harman Kardon. As we know, they're one of the best, and Dolby Atmos support. Settings wise, things are pretty straightforward here with options for 3 different sound profiles, those being dynamic, movie and music, but we'll have a listen to what they sound like. Bear in mind the sound coming up may be quite loud.
Are you really friends with Peter Parker?
What's this supposed to accomplish? We have infinite grandkids. You're trying to use Disney bucks at a Caesar's Palace here.
Hey, that's a bluff.
The game does look remarkably better. The FPS is hitting a cap of 60 it seems, with slight dips down to And in my experience, the speakers on here are really good. Honestly, they sound full and have very good sharp highs thanks to those tweeters. They have good depth to them as well and can get really loud. Maybe there's a smidge of bass, obviously not going to be thumping or anything, but that's a limitation of the size of the speakers. Overall, I think it's a very good audio experience for media consumption, and the sound coming out of these is a joy to listen to. I would say they're not as good as maybe what we saw on the Lenovo Tab Plus. When it comes to performance, the Yoga Tab Plus is powered by the powerful Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip along with Adreno 750 GPU. RAM-wise, we have only one option here in the UK at least, and that's LPDDR5X 16GB. On storage front, we have a single option of UFS 4.0 256GB storage. The tablet is running on Android 14 with Lenovo's own OS, and Lenovo promises 3 OS updates up to Android 17 along with 4 years of security patches. So that might not be the longest period of support, but again, at least there's, a good few years that you will be getting updates. Quick look in the settings, and we have different connection options such as tethering, VPN, private DNS, projection, cast, printing, along with Smart Connect and Quick Share. So plenty of options for connectivity. Personal customization has plenty of options too, from different themes, dynamic wallpapers, and charge animations. We have a built-in fingerprint reader on the power button, which is easy setup and works no problem. And in advanced features, we have PC mode, which switches the OS into a more desktop-like experience. So those who prefer that kind of experience will find that useful, and apps are kind of shown in this more Windows type of layout. I personally enjoy working on here if you want to be a bit more productive and have a more familiar layout. You also have RAM expansion up to 9GB extra, so by default it is off and I will be leaving it that way. When it comes to benchmarks, we can expect high numbers here as the SD8 Gen 3 is a beast of a chip. On Antutu, it scores a very high 1,950,000 score with 4.6 degrees temperature rise and 5% battery loss. For read and write speed testing, we get 3.9GB on read and 2.3GB on write, so pretty high bandwidth there. 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme Stress Test, best loop score was 4,460 with a stability of 88.5%, so again quite good. And the performance range shows us the battery went from 74 to 65%, temperature increased from 26 to 32 degrees, and frame rate ranges from 15 FPS to 31 FPS. So again, good FPS range, but we'll be putting that to the test in the gaming section. Geekbench 6, the high scores continue as expected with 2,234 single core score and 6,920 on multi-core score, so plenty of computing power packed in this tablet. And general use of the OS itself is nice and snappy with apps loading super fast, hardly any jitters or lags anyway, it all runs super smooth. Quick RAM management test, and I'll open COD Mobile here, a heavier app, and going back to the previously opened apps, we can see that they are still running in the background, so multitasking on here will be fine. We'll have a quick look at connecting an external drive, and again, worked as I expected with 4K video files loading instantly and scrubbing through them with no problems. Copying this file, which is nearly 6GB in size, over to the tablet took, I would say, around 25 seconds or so again, fast speeds there. And then we'll have a quick look at some video editing here on CapCut. And I have a 4K video loaded, which is around 4 minutes and 38 seconds in length. Scrubbing through is nice and snappy with no load times, and exporting the video at 4K resolution 30 FPS medium bitrate took only 56 seconds, so super fast there indeed. In comparison, the Idea Tab Pro with the exact same export took 2 minutes and 41 seconds. So when it comes to productivity, the Yoga Tab Plus handles nearly everything you can throw at it. Floating windows lets you have multiple apps open at the same time with no problem. And we also get Lenovo AI built into this tablet, which is Lenovo's own AI assistant powered by Meta's Llama 3 large language model and advanced multi-core processing. At its core is a personal knowledge base which safeguards, organizes and stores users' data directly onto the device. So it's enabling intuitive search, retrieval and interaction with documents and images and other data. You will have to log into your Lenovo account in order to use the AI assistant, and in this quick example you can provide the assistant documents to summarize and also add it to the knowledge base, and we can see it does a good job of summarizing this document on agriculture over the years in the USA. And you also have AI writing tools in the form of continue writing, rewrite and summary. So in this example I'll hit AI continue writing on this piece of text, and it does a good job of extending the text further, and it has different options of tones, so things like normal, formal, professional, casual, funny, things like that. So you have plenty of different options. And for AI summary, It will summarize large pieces of text into something more concise, and it will present information in bullet points and such. So again, useful AI tools if you are one of those people that take advantage of things like this. We also have circles to search built in and can be activated by holding the gesture bar for a few seconds, and you can circle to your heart's content. And Google Gemini is accessible by holding the power button for a few seconds, and you can perform various tasks here. I'll ask it to open Chrome in this example. So let's jump into some gaming and see how the tablet handles graphically intense games. We're starting off with a device temperature of 21 degrees. Brightness is set to around 75% and speakers around 25%. And the battery is on 73% at the moment. First game will be COD Warzone, and in the settings we have peak for visual quality, which is the highest available, and I'll set FPS to uncapped and everything else to high. And in multiplayer on these settings, the FPS is jumping around all over the shop. At some point it's hitting 112 and then dipping down to 69, so that is some erratic FPS. I guess the peak graphics are wreaking havoc here, but at least the game looks visually really good. 10 minutes in, and in a Warzone / Battle Royale game, it's a similar situation with erratic FPS count, and we can see the temperature has creeped up to 32 degrees, so things are kind of warming up, but that's no surprise as the SD8 Gen 3 is known to be a toasty chip. We'll switch the visual quality to very low, FPS target to uncapped again, and everything else is set to low, and see if that helps with the FPS. And for some reason now the FPS is at a low range, with the highest being around 50, 60, so not entirely sure why that is the case. Temperature is hitting 34 degrees now, so maybe there's some throttling going on, or it could just be the game's optimization. 20 minutes in, and we'll now jump straight into COD Mobile, and here setting the frame rate to ultra defaults the graphic quality to medium, and I've enabled frame rate adjustment to target 120 FPS. And here we have no problem with hitting the 120 FPS cap. Might get some dips down to 119, but generally running a smooth 120, and at this frame rate it's as smooth as butter. Although the graphic quality is limited, it still looks decent, I would say. And with those same settings, when we jump into Battle Royale, we can see here the FPS is capped at 90, but again, no problem hitting that 90 FPS target and maintaining it. We'll switch the graphic quality to max, which brings the frame rate to max also. And now we have a much better looking game, but the FPS is capped at 60, which is smooth. And a lot of people are more than happy to play at this FPS range. But when you come down from 120 to 60, you can see the difference massively. But graphics wise, the game looks really nice. So 30 minutes into gaming, device temperature is reading 31.3 degrees, so still quite warm, and the battery is down to 60%, so we've lost 13% battery so far. Next we'll check out Wuthering Waves, and again I will start off with the highest possible settings, and here highest FPS is 60. And with those settings, the FPS was a bit erratic again, especially here with this combat gameplay dipping down to low 50s, but then hitting 60 at times. So maybe this is due to the high visual quality and also the fact the temperature is at 32 degrees, but generally the FPS was kind of okay. So after 41 minutes so far, the temperature is now hitting 36 degrees, so getting quite high, and the battery is down to 52%, so we lost 8% battery in that 10 minutes of playing Wuthering Waves. So I don't know if that's quite a dramatic battery loss there. Next we'll check out PUBG and setting the graphics to Ultra HDR and the frame rate to Ultra. And with those settings, the game looks really good visually, but the frame rate caps around 40 FPS here. And to unlock that super high 120 FPS, we need to switch the graphics to smooth, and then we can select ultra extreme frame rate. And on these settings, the visual quality obviously has taken a hit, but we are getting the 120 FPS target, although we are getting some fluctuation down to 100 or so. So still smooth enough, but obviously not holding as steady as I would have liked it to. So after nearly an hour back-to-back intense gaming, we finish off with the temperature reading 30 degrees and the battery down to 47%, so we lost a total of 26% battery life. Although that's not the worst, that is still quite a bit of a battery drain. And regarding the gameplay itself, the SD8 Gen 3 is a very capable chip, but we do have limitations when it comes to graphics versus FPS. So if you have to pick one or the other, and as we saw, super high graphic quality will give you erratic FPS in certain games. But generally, for people who aren't looking into all that information with that much detail, rest assured you will have a very good gaming experience on this tablet. So the Yoga Tab Plus has a 10,200 milliamp hour battery and supports up to 45-watt charging, and it also supports reverse charging, no wireless charging on here, and the battery setup is basically identical as the Idea Tab Pro. In the settings we have usual such as battery saver with various options such as enabling dark mode, reducing screen refresh rate and turning off the tablet after reaching a certain power level. Charge up optimization lets you limit the battery power between 40 and 60% with charge protection, and also allows you to set a maximum charge limit of 80%, so various options to protect the battery. And then we have the usual graphs and data for on-screen time. For me, I would say the battery is good for a day's worth of more kind of heavy use and maybe 2 days worth of light use, and the charging time from 0 to 100% will take just over about 2 hours on here. So although not the best battery life you're getting from a tablet, it is, I would say, average. When it comes to the cameras, we have the 13 megapixel rear camera with a 2 megapixel macro camera and a 13 megapixel ultra wide front facing camera. Modes available are macro, documents, photo, video and face tracking. For video, we have quite basic options with flashlight control and different resolutions, but jumping into the settings we have further basic options like camera sounds, watermarks, and the rear camera can capture at a maximum of 4K 30 FPS, and the same goes for the front camera too. Then you have your 2x zoom option, and in photo you can add things like filters, AI photography, and then the face tracking is a welcome addition, I have to say, as I demonstrate here with this tool. And it does a pretty good job keeping a visible face in focus and tracking it as it moves around, so quite a useful feature to have there. And then we'll just have a quick look at some captures from the camera itself. Just a quick camera test. Nice and sunny day here today, surprisingly. Check out what the mic quality sounds like. Recording at 4K 30 FPS. And 2x zoom. So wrapping up our review of the Lenovo Yoga Tab Plus, we'll summarize its key strengths and also areas for improvement. So pros of the Yoga Tab Plus, I would say, have to be the display. The 12.7-inch 3K display with 144Hz refresh rate and up to 900 nit brightness offers, vibrant visuals and smooth performance. So that kind of enhances productivity and entertainment. Performance on here, which is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and equipped with 16 gigabytes of RAM. The tablet handles multitasking and demanding applications with ease, although we did see limitations in the gaming section. Audio quality, featuring the 6 speakers and Harman Kardon sound with Dolby Atmos support, the tablet delivers immersive and high fidelity sound, making it ideal for media consumption. The included Tab Pen Pro kickstand and keyboard provides a versatile complete package that transforms the tablet into a productive powerhouse akin to a laptop, and the Tab Pen Pro itself is really good with a superb writing experience, especially with that haptic feedback. And finally, the design and build of the tablet is more premium aesthetic with the chamfered edges and glass section along the back. For cons, I would have to say the limited connectivity with the absence of cellular connectivity options might be a drawback for users who require internet access on the go, and obviously having no memory card expansion is another drawback. And then the price point itself, as it's positioned as a premium tablet, the Yoga Tab Plus may be considered quite a bit expensive compared to other tablets in the market. I think at this price point it would have been nice to even have seen like an OLED screen on this tablet. But in conclusion, the Lenovo Yoga Tab Plus stands out as a powerful and versatile tablet, excelling in display quality, performance and audio experience. While it comes at a higher price point and lacks cellular connectivity, its innovative features and robust capabilities make it a compelling choice for those seeking a premium Android tablet experience. Anyways, that's all for me guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.